What's up? It's BunnyMuffins. I know I'm late, but Riot released a mini patch called 9.24B, and frankly, I'm pretty glad they did it because they made a bunch of changes, mainly nerfing Zed, which I think are great for the game. So let's just roll right into it. Starting at the top, 3-star scaling has been nerfed from 2 times the stats of a 2-star to 1.8 times. Personally, I didn't see any issue with 3-star units. I feel like you should be rewarded when going for 3 stars. What I think they need to do instead is make items a little weaker because right now anyone who's carrying 3 items are like 80% of your team's damage out of like the 8 people on your team. So I don't think that's completely right. I do understand that you want to have certain people carry, but um, doing 80% of the damage from just one unit seems a little strange to me. But instead, they nerfed 3-star units. I didn't really see an issue with this, but this shouldn't change too much of the game. Moving on into the balance changes, we have Inferno, Electric, and Shadow. Shadow got nerfed from 70% to 60% bonus damage. I agree with this nerf. I remember predicting that 3 Shadows would be very strong since Senna is just very good. And they're nerfing it just slightly. I do wish that they instead gave more power to 6 count Shadow buff because that's a really cool synergy because it affects all of them once you get it. But I'm not really sure how they could buff it, but no one's really going for that. Next up, we have Electric. Electric has been nerfed, likely because Zed is OP, so this is pretty expected since Zed is one of the strongest units in the game right now. Hopefully we won't have a permanent Zed meta until Season 10, so I'm completely fine with this. Inferno got buffed. No one's really playing Inferno, but I wonder if this is because Assassins are very prevalent right now, and in my opinion, Assassins do counter Inferno comps. So maybe nerfing specifically Zed, and I see the Assassin changes right here. I'm guessing that's a nerf. It might be doing too much to also buff Inferno because the double effect might make them stronger than intended. So moving on into Assassins. So, okay, wow, they're getting hit pretty hard here. So first off, the 3-count Assassin trait is being reduced in terms of critical strike damage from 75% to 50%. This is quite considerable because that's 33% nerf. Nocturne hit very hard. His healing is doing a lot less than it did before, so I think he'll still be playable, but definitely not the same level he is right now, which is completely OP. Lastly, we have the anticipated Zed nerfs. These are completely warranted. I'm glad that they didn't hit him too hard because I don't think these nerfs are that strong. But they did hit Electric and they did hit the Assassin trait as well. So it's like he's kind of getting triply nerfed, which I think overall should be good for him just because he was one of the best champions in the game. Okay, so moving on to the newcomers, I guess. We have Senna and a MooMoo. Okay, so Senna got nerfed actually quite a bit, so more than 30% at level 1 and around 33% at level 2. That's quite a bit of damage that she lost, but luckily enough, she's mainly strong because she uses Morella Namicon so well because she gives the debuff to her allies. So I think she's still going to be good, but I like the slight nerf on her. They didn't gut her completely. Let's look at a MooMoo now. So a MooMoo has less mana needed for his ultimate, and his range is now normalized to 3 hexes. So this range buff is huge because at level 1, that means he's hitting pretty much every target he's ever going to hit. The 3-star MooMoo nerf doesn't really matter because no one's ever going to get him to 3-star. So overall, this is a huge buff for him, which I think is kind of strange because they buffed Inferno and now they're buffing one of their better units. So maybe Inferno will be a really powerful thing next patch. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so next up we have Rangers. Rangers got a pretty big buff, I guess. Yeah, Ashe, since this is per arrow, she's going to do like quite a bit more damage now because she shoots a lot of arrows whenever she uses her ability. And Twitch got a 20 mana nerf on his, or 20 mana buff on his ability, so I think this is the biggest buff to Rangers. I'm glad they're not buffing them too much because they are starting to be played. So I like their approach being conservative on the previous patch and now strengthening them up a little bit more. Next, we're on to some general changes. So this means Zyra's getting hit. Wow, Zyra's getting completely smashed, actually. She does, like, at 3-star, she'll do a little more than she does at 1-star, which is actually nuts. Yeah, Zyra's, she's still good for her plants because she's a summoner, and wow, that's a big hit. She's good as an item holder though, so she still has that going for her. And summoners are just pretty strong in general, in my opinion. And Inferno did get buffed, so maybe this is very justified since she probably was one of the stronger 1-cost units. Rec size change, doesn't matter. Brand got a mana buff by 10 mana, so this is actually a little worrying because they've been touching Brand a lot. I feel like, and Brand's easily the strongest Inferno unit, right? Either him or Annie. I'm scared that now Seraphs will be really useful on Brand since his mana pool is so low, and Seraphs is better on champions with less mana. So now this gives him more options. He doesn't have to spam Spear or Shojin, you don't need to use up a sword on Brand, and now you could just use a lot of tears on him instead. So that could be very interesting moving forward. I think he's going to be really strong this patch. And okay, this is the last change that we have today, which are the item changes. Hush and Disarm, they both are going from 33% to 25%. So that's actually a pretty sizable nerf. I didn't really see a problem with Disarm, but I know that, or sorry, Swordbreaker, which disarms people. But I didn't really see a problem with Swordbreaker because not attacking doesn't really mean that much in TFT, whereas Hush completely deserved the nerf because, I mean, we all play the champions for their abilities, and not being able to cast something is very frustrating sometimes. So I do like the Hush change. But I suspect this nerf will only really hurt Blade Masters such as Sivir, because they were really the only people who used them or abused them, whereas every other time you see these items, it's just kind of, they had those items components and they had to make them. That's it for this mini patch. I can't wait to start streaming in January. You can go ahead and follow me on twitch.tv/BunnyMuffins LOL. I'll leave a link in the description below. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments section down below, and maybe even join my Discord, which is also in the description. As always, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon to get notified of my newest videos. And last but not least, check out some of my other videos, such as my leveling guide, if you want to improve your play. I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe. And of course, smash that like button. Each like is an LP I gain before the next video.